This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Welcome to Good Morning Indiana. It is 4:27 here. We finally made it to Friday. Thanks for waking up early with us here at RTV6. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. We begin with some breaking news from overnight. Indianapolis drug kingpin Richard Grundy III has been found guilty on 4 federal charges. This is a case we've been following for years now.
Yeah, you may remember that he got off getting charged for anything that had to do with some murders that people thought he was responsible for, but he was back in the courtroom on these drug charges, and we're hearing that he could be in prison for life for all of these charges. So he's bringing drugs in from Mexico and different places to Indianapolis. So
and a wide variety of drugs at that.
Yeah, so we'll continue to keep you updated on that case. This is something a lot of people have been wanting to see. Another story we are following this morning is a shooting on the north side of town. This is near Crown Hill Cemetery, and police were called out to this scene where a person who's 25 years old was shot multiple times.
Yeah, he is currently in critical condition right now. Police have no identity of a suspect or any information of that matter, so we're going to continue to follow this closely. Once again, unfortunately, another night in the city where we see violence.
We do want to bring in Todd Clausen, though, and talk about our forecast today and what we can expect as we head into the weekend. And yesterday was beautiful, Todd.
Yeah,
2 thumbs up.
You know, that humidity was so low yesterday. There was a little bit of a breeze and the sunshine. It was the perfect day for the state fair. Some changes here as we enter Friday and the weekend. Radar is quiet for right now across central Indiana. And look at those temperatures. We told you yesterday it was going to be a cool morning, and we're in the 50s right now in Logansport as well as Kokomo, 61 in Bloomington. You potentially could fall back down into the 50s this morning as well. And as normal, we're running a little bit warmer in Indianapolis at 68 degrees. So overall today, mostly cloudy skies. A few spot showers will sneak in here probably mid-morning into early afternoon. Something we'll have to keep an eye on. We're not looking at a lot in the way of rain, but this evening should be dry for any weekend festivities with the clouds around. Our temperatures right around 82 degrees, but we do build back in the heat as we work our way through the weekend, and we're expecting highs to be right around 90 by the time we get to Sunday.
Okay, Todd. A little heat up there. Thank you, Todd. Well, Classroom to Career is our mission here at RTV6, dedicated to helping you find you and your kids find your path to a career from the classroom. It's all part of our Hiring Hoosier series, and Erin Lish today is looking at how the Indiana Latino Institute is helping to bridge the gap and help get these students into secondary education. We'll be checking in with her, plus we'll have more local news, weather, and your traffic updates for your Friday morning. It's all coming up right here on Good Morning Indiana.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
A late-night shooting sends one person to the hospital. Breaking overnight, what we're learning about the moments before the gunfire.
Plus, we've heard about do not call, but what about do not knock? Why one central Indiana city is considering the possibility of such a list.
And city leaders hope to combat food deserts in the Circle City. This morning, the new initiative just launched to help small food stores. It's 4:30 on your Friday morning, TGIF. I'm Meredith Barrick.
And I'm Lauren Casey. Thanks for joining us here. We finally made it to Friday, and we had a great day of weather yesterday, and Todd Clausen is here to talk about what we can expect for our Friday and the weekend ahead.
Yeah, you know, today's a decent day. I probably wouldn't call it a great day of weather, simply because there will be some shower chances and a little more in the way of cloud cover this morning. But you're walking out the door to a temperature of 68 degrees in the city, and some of you have been outside already, or maybe you opened the window last night and you're joining us here this morning. It's a lot cooler once you get into the outlying areas. Lots of 50s this morning already. 55 in Crawfordsville, 59 is the current temperature in Peru, 61 in Bloomington, Greensburg, 62. So I would suspect as the morning wears on, those temperatures will fall back down into the 50s as well. 61 is the current temperature in Tipton. So the clouds continue to increase at this 4 o'clock hour this morning across central Indiana. Still a little bit of some clear skies off towards the east. But what's prompting all these clouds is this cluster of storms that's going through Missouri. Now, most of this rainfall is going to dive down to our south, but it's kind of pimping us with the cloud cover as that moves to the south. So we're not going to have as bright of a day as we had yesterday, but for the most part, it's going to be dry with one little hiccup around the noon hour with some scattered showers that could make their way through. If you do see those showers, they're going to be very light and they're going to be very spotty, but the clouds will help to keep the temperatures down once again again today, with our high expected to get up to right around 82 degrees. We'll talk more about the weekend forecast in just a few minutes, but at 4:31, it's time for a first look at traffic on this Friday morning. Here's Lauren.
Hey, Todd, thank you so much. Here's a live look right now at I-465 and I-74 over on the east side of town. You can see traffic there is moving along just fine, pretty quiet this morning. A reminder, we do that interstate closure continuing today and over the weekend, eastbound, northbound I-465. So if you're heading in on westbound I-74, you'll not be able to go north. Just a heads up to that. But let's take a look right now. I-69 near State Road 38 during an ongoing construction project in this area. Everything right now is moving along smoothly, both northbound and southbound. We'll continue to keep you updated on any crashes or delays.
Breaking overnight, a federal jury in Evansville finding former Indianapolis drug kingpin Richard Grundy III guilty on all counts. Authorities say Grundy led a drug operation selling cocaine, meth, heroin, and marijuana from outside the country. Grundy was arrested along with more than 20 other people in 2017 on federal drug charges. The 4 other people on trial with Grundy were also found guilty on all counts. More than 20 other people were arrested on federal drug charges in the 2017 case. We have more on the background of this story right now on the RTV6 app.
At 4:33, breaking news now from the city's north side. Metro Police are investigating a late-night shooting near 34th and Graceland Avenue. That's just a few blocks from Crown Hill Cemetery. Police say that a neighbor called to report a man shot in the backyard of a home on Graceland. That's when police arrived, and they arrived just before midnight, and they found a 25-year-old man with multiple gunshot wounds. At this hour, that man is listed in critical condition. No word this morning on a search for the suspect.
The city of Westfield wants to make sure people can keep solicitors off their property if they choose. In the past, it's been up to each neighborhood's homeowners associations whether to allow soliciting or not. But at least one solicitation company is fighting that, saying it's unconstitutional for an HOA to make a decision that blankets an entire neighborhood. City officials say they're considering making the policy a city ordinance. Residents we talked to say they are in favor of the rule, but are skeptical about it being enforced.
We were on a no-call list with our phones forever. Didn't stop anybody. And of course, what are you going to do? Sue them? You can't do anything. And so if you pass this, that's great. But how do you enforce it?
Well, as long as it's a city ordinance and properly passed, yes, our police department will enforce that on a one-on-one basis.
Mayor Andy Cook says a solicitation company is challenging the proposal. For more information on how all of this would work, you can head to the RTV6 app and click on this story.
City leaders are also working to address areas where people do not have access to fresh food. That's known as food deserts. Indianapolis is looking for an expert or organization to work with the city, staff, and community leaders to help get to the root of what causes food insecurity and how to fix it. The consultant will also work with small grocery store owners that are trying to succeed in food deserts.
What we're trying to do here is give people an additional lifeline to help them grow out of some of the initial growing pains of trying to make a difference without necessarily having the technical expertise as you get started. And I think that's an important thing that we can leverage our city resources to help do.
The city will be accepting submissions to take on this task through the Office of Public Health and Safety until Friday, October 4th. The study is expected to be complete in September of next year.
Purdue University just landed a $10 million federal grant to jumpstart a new laboratory devoted to improving food safety in developing nations. The funding from the United States Agency for International Development will go toward Purdue's new Feed the Future Innovation Lab for food safety. The lab will collaborate with Cornell University to develop programs to improve food safety in Bangladesh, Cambodia, Ethiopia, Kenya, and Senegal. Feed the Future is a global hunger and food security initiative spearheaded by the U.S., aiming to tackle the root causes of hunger, poverty, and malnutrition.
This weekend, you're invited to remember the life of Eva Moses Kor, the Holocaust survivor who's called the Hoosier State Home. Eva died last month while on her annual trip to Poland. She was 85 years old. As a child, she and her twin sister survived the horrors at the concentration camp at Auschwitz. She started the Candles Museum in Terre Haute and made it a mission to forgive but not forget the Holocaust. On Sunday, her life will be celebrated at Cluse Memorial Hall on Butler University's campus at 2 p.m. Governor Holcomb and her son, Dr. Alex Kor, are set to speak along with a world-renowned Holocaust scholar.
Good news this morning on an animal neglect case we first told you about at the beginning of this year. In January, 80 dogs along with several horses and donkeys were rescued from a woman's home in Lagodi. This morning we can report all of those dogs have found their forever homes. The Martin County Humane Society says several of the horses have also been adopted. Humane Society officials say since the dogs were purebred, that helped them get adopted fast. Officials say they hope people will still check out all the mixed breeds at area shelters because they are just as cute and just as loving.
Well, the National Weather Service officials say that a tornado touched down in southwest Indiana earlier this week. The EF1 tornado touched down near Graysville just after midnight on Tuesday. That's in Sullivan County near the Illinois state line. Meteorologists say the tornado had winds of up to 95 miles per hour and it was on the ground for about a half a mile. Thankfully, that storm did not do any damage to buildings, but it did knock down several trees.
2 Democratic congresswomen no longer allowed in Israel. Straight ahead, why Israeli officials say the lawmakers' intents are to hurt the country.
Plus, more U.S. seniors are being forced out of their homes. After the break, what experts say is behind the heartbreaking trend. Todd.
And Lauren, you notice this cluster of storms off to our west. That is diving down to the south. We don't have to worry about that, but it is providing some cloud cover here across central Indiana. We'll talk about your Friday forecast and look ahead to the weekend as well. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on RTV6. The time now is 4:38. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Weather campers, RTV6 is working for you.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana, 4:41 on your Friday. And here's a live look at your drive right now on the north side where you won't have any problems. I-465 at Keystone Avenue. We'll continue to keep a close eye out for any crashes and keep you updated throughout the morning.
Investigators from the National Transportation Safety Board are expected to examine the wreckage from Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s Cessna business jet today. The small plane crashed upon landing yesterday at the Elizabethton Municipal Airport in eastern Tennessee. 5 people on board, including Earnhardt, his wife, and baby daughter. Thankfully, everyone is safe. NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine will offer an update today on plans to bring humans back to the moon by 2024. He says the rocket expected to power the next mission is about 90% complete. Bridenstine says an Artemis 1 test flight is scheduled for 2020. President Trump was in New Hampshire last night, kicking off his primary campaign.
As ABC's Elizabeth Herr reports, the rally came just hours after he defended Israel's decision to block 2 American congresswomen, 2 of the president's political opponents, from entering that country.
President Trump campaigning for votes at a rally in New Hampshire, but making no mention of the global news he addressed just hours earlier, reacting to the unprecedented move by Israel denying entry to 2 of President Trump's political enemies, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar of Minnesota and Rashida Tlaib of Michigan.
I did speak to people over there. Yeah. They've said some of the worst things I've ever heard said about Israel. So how can Israel say, oh, welcome?
The announcement from Israel did come shortly after the president tweeted this, saying allowing the 2 congresswomen to visit would show great weakness. In a statement, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who is up for re-election next month, declared their intent is to hurt Israel. Israeli officials citing an Israeli law giving them the authority to deny entry to people who support movements to boycott the country. Omar and Tlaib, the first 2 Muslim women elected to Congress, have backed movements to boycott Israel and criticized the country's treatment of Palestinians. Overnight, Tlaib vowed she will keep fighting.
I don't know what to tell you. This is a country that has just made a huge error, I believe.
Omar also condemned the move, writing, Trump's Muslim ban is what Israel is implementing, this time against 2 duly elected members of Congress. And now House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is among the Democrats defending Omar and Tlaib, calling Israel's decision, quote, beneath the dignity of that country. Elizabeth Herr, ABC News, New York.
It is 4:43. North Korea officials say that they will not hold any future face-to-face talks with South Korean officials. The remarks follow South Korean President Moon Jae-in's Liberation Day speech, saying dialogue between Koreas and the United States, quote, remains unshaken, despite North Korea's recent missile launches. North Korea has rallied against ongoing U.S.-South Korea joint military drills. Earlier this week, North Korean leaders say that they'll only hold future talks with Washington.
A car chase in Southern California ended in a wildfire. Riverside County officers were chasing a suspected stolen vehicle when it crashed. The accident then sparked a small wildfire near a neighborhood. Firefighters are working to contain it, but so far it has burned 2 homes, an outbuilding, and at least 5 acres. First responders say the good news is no injuries have been reported so far.
This morning, hundreds of people in Colorado are being forced out of their homes, and it's all thanks to a growing wildfire in that state. The fire is burning near Deer Creek Park, just west of Denver. The growing fire has burned 13 acres so far, but hasn't burned any homes yet. Fire crews say the fire started around 5:30 on Thursday evening. Firefighters hope to have the area contained later today. What started the fire still remains under investigation this morning. Back here at home, though, we want to check in with Todd Clausen in our Friday forecast.
And it's a fairly quiet forecast. There's one opportunity here, or one window, I guess I should say, for some showers to make their way through the area during the course of the middle half of the morning into the early afternoon. But for your morning commute and your evening commute, we should be just fine. Here's a live look outside, and you can see the lights out there. No visibility issues here this morning. The past 2 mornings we were dealing with a little bit of patchy fog. 68 degrees. That is the current temperature out there right now in Indianapolis. But once you get into the outlying areas, it is much cooler as some 50s are starting to show up. Peru, as well as Crawfordsville in the mid to upper 50s. 61 Lafayette, Greencastle, Bloomington. You will probably fall into the upper 50s here with our normal temperatures getting right down to their lowest point right before sunrise. And sunrise now isn't until just before 7 o'clock. So we still have a few hours of cooling left to go, although some clouds are starting to make their way into the area, as you can see, and that may prevent the temperatures from falling too much further throughout the remainder of the day. So a little more in the way of clear skies off towards the east. The clouds a little thicker the way as you move to the west, and then as you move even further to the west, we have this cluster of storms that's making its way through Missouri. So these storms are not severe off to our west, and they're diving down to the south. So we really don't have to worry about those so much for the rainfall, but it is close enough to overspread some high, thin cloud cover here into central Indiana this morning. And that is what's going to keep our temperatures from really warming very quickly this morning, like they would if we would have complete sunshine. So the clouds continue to thicken, and then here comes our shower chance towards the middle half of the day. So if you have plans for your lunch hour today, you probably want to pull up the Storm Team 6 Storm Shield app and take a look at the radar to make sure we're not going to be dealing with these showers. They should be scattered in nature, and generally they should be on the light side, but there will be the possibility as a little disturbance moves through that you could get a little bit wet during the middle half of the day. But those showers move out, so if you do have plans this evening, and I know there is a lot going on this weekend, you will be in pretty good shape this evening for any plans. So here's how it kind of breaks down for you hour by hour. And you notice mostly cloudy skies, the shower chance for the middle half of the day. With the clouds in place, temperatures really don't do a whole lot throughout the course of the morning, only getting up to right around 75 degrees by the time we get to the noon hour. And then I do think we can break into a little bit of sunshine once that little disturbance with the shower threat moves through during the afternoon and evening hours. So if you're heading to the fair this evening, you are in great shape. Temperatures fall into the 70s, mostly cloudy skies, but pleasant temperatures and not too muggy. And then overnight tonight, as the winds turn southerly, it's not as chilly with temperatures that'll be falling back down into the upper 60s. So about 10 degrees warmer as we head into the overnight hours. Now tomorrow, there will be a storm chance off to our west, and that could bring some thunderstorms in here to start your day. If you do see those thunderstorms, just know they're not going to linger throughout the entire day. Things will get better as we go on Saturday, 85 degrees, then up to 90 on Sunday, 92 on Monday is the hottest day in our 7-day planning forecast, and then it stays pretty warm at least through the middle half of next week. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic right now over on the west side, I-465 and West 21st Street. Some headlights out that way, but everything is moving along just fine. Let's take a look at our traffic now map. We have just a little bit of a delay here on northbound I-65 heading into the Dog Lake area, approaching the I-465 ramps, but it's just a short slowdown. And then over here, we still have this closure. This will last through the next weekend, August 24th. That's when this area is scheduled to reopen. Eastbound, northbound I-465 between I-65 on the south side, I-70 on the east side. And here's a quick look at some detour routes. So let's take a live look right now down on the south side. This is I-65 in Greenwood near the Main Street exit. You can see traffic here is pretty quiet this morning. We'll continue to keep you updated.
Graphic warnings may soon be placed on cigarette packages. That's if if a new FDA proposal moves forward. It would require tobacco companies to put color images and health risk information on packages and advertisements. Those warnings would have to cover 50% of the front and back of cigarette packages. At least 120 other countries and jurisdictions have similar requirements. A final ruling on the proposal is expected in March.
A heartbreaking trend happening all around the country. More seniors are becoming homeless. According to the Department of Housing and Urban Development, the number of seniors who are homeless was at 2.9% in 2007. In 2016, that number went up to 4.7%. Experts and groups that help the homeless say two things are to blame for this growing trend.
They are oftentimes on a fixed income. And so as housing prices increase, their income does not, nor does their income often have the chance of increasing.
Officials say there's now a growing need for shelters that can cater to the elderly along with their health issues. For those seniors who haven't reached the point of homelessness, it's important for them to find local and state programs that help with rental assistance or rental subsidies.
We finally know what Project X is at Kings Island, but will you be brave enough to ride it? We're breaking down the staggering stats after the break.
And dozens of residents living in assisted living facility have less than 2 months to figure out new living arrangements. Coming up at 5 o'clock, the reason behind this sudden closure. Time right now is 4:50. We'll be back after the break.
The budget stretches further at Mattress Firm.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. It is 4:54, and here's a live look in Fishers. Good morning to you. This is I-69 at 106th Street. Traffic in this area is moving along up to speed. We'll keep you updated on any crashes or delays for your morning drive.
Are you ready to ride the world's latest Giga Coaster? The predictions for Kings Island's newest rides were correct. The park unveiling Orion, its newest roller coaster, complete with a 300-foot drop. To put that into perspective, that's just 2 feet shorter than the park's tallest ride, the Windseeker Swings. Orion will be the park's longest coaster and will reach speeds up to 91 miles per hour. The coaster will be the 13th fastest coaster in the world. Kings Island officials say the cost of the ride is more than the price tag to build the entire park back in 1972. I think I might have to pass on that one, Lauren.
I'm not a roller coaster gal.
Yeah, neither am I.
All right, well, authorities in Deltona, Florida are investigating a suspicious snack machine break-in. This little guy knew where to find his faves after breaking into a vending machine at Pine Ridge High School in Deltona. Look at him there. His plan was foiled when the raccoon got stuck and he appeared to climb the shelves to the potato chips and the fruit snacks. The local sheriff's office and animal control rolled the vending machine outside to a grassy area. And the suspect they watched the suspect run away eagerly. Hopefully he is not a repeat offender.
I think I might have found my spirit animal.
I know.
Though.
Just looking for a snack.
Incredible video shows sandstone cliffs crashing down just feet from a group of kayakers. It happened at the Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore on Lake Superior. 2 nature photographers happened to be recording when the incredible incident unfolded. Amazingly, none of the kayakers were hurt, but it is definitely something they will not soon forget.
That's
and
crazy.
Todd, I know this time of year, that is a busy place, so incredibly lucky no one was hurt during that.
Yeah, you know, absolutely. And it's a very popular place. If you lived in Michigan, as Meredith and I have, a lot of people go up there this time of year right before school starts because it starts a little later school in Michigan. So, yeah, thankfully, all those kayakers were okay.
Wow, very lucky.
Yep. All right, outside right now, mostly cloudy skies, but it's a dry morning commute for you. There could be a stray shower or storm as we get closer to the noon hour today, 81 degrees. And then as we work our way into the weekend, as we get into Saturday, some storms in the morning. Sunday, the storm threats in the afternoon. There's a lot of dry hours with hazy sunshine both days. So don't be dismayed if you do wake up tomorrow to some scattered storms. Sunday's the warmer day of the weekend at 90 degrees. Monday is the hottest day in our 7-day planning forecast with a high temperature of 92. And then we keep it warm and muggy all the way through Wednesday. The time now is 4:57. Stay with Good Morning Indiana. We'll be back for you here in just a few minutes.